So someone said corporatism is a natural result of capitalism.
Um,
And then somebody commented and said, which is good, but then they commented back and said, the government is supposed to control corporations, not vice versa. Giving control to corporations invites abuse and corruption.
agreed. With the abuse and corruption. Do you go first? I'll go second on this one.
Yeah. So I mean, I think yes, just because you support like businesses and capitalism doesn't necessarily mean you support corporatism. Like there's a big difference, because a business should not be controlling the government, and the government should not be controlling the business. It is there for checks and balances. It is there to kind of, we say it before, laissez-faire, guiding hand. It is there to kind of just make things sure that things are moving along. It is not there to set all these strict regulations to basically micromanage, each other. That goes both ways, in my opinion.
So does capitalism cause corporatism? No. Corruption causes corporatism. People with low moral character, people who are afraid of competition, executives that are afraid of change, executives who want things to stay the same or to bend the rules to benefit themselves. That's not capitalism. Capitalism capitalism in its essence is a pure form of trade. Bartering was the first form of capitalism. So you can't say that capitalism causes corporatism. You can say that somebody who's afraid of competition, who doesn't want other people in the market who are doing the same thing, who might do it better, maybe they don't have, like, corporations are meant to die eventually. They aren't right. They aren't meant to stay around forever. They really aren't. There's supposed to be another business that steps up and replaces them. So I don't believe that capitalism causes corporatism. I believe that corporatism is the side effect of corrupt business practices that, in its purest form, I do not believe in. The other piece was, what was the second part of that comment?
With the abuse and corruption?
Turn it up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. With the abuse and corruption? Or
yeah, read the second half.
Someone said the government is supposed to control corporations, not vice versa. Giving control to corporations invites abuse and power.
So here's the deal:
and for example, they said, i.e., what Shell did in Nigeria.
Can you look that up?
I'll check it out in a second. Go ahead.
So as far as government's supposed to control corporations, I don't agree with that either. So I think this is a multiple step comment, and I think the conversation's good, and I want people to keep having conversations like that. My opinion is the government is supposed to put some regulation in, small government
to prevent corruption.
But how do you prevent corruption when you're corrupt yourself? The whole idea of government is corrupt, right? The whole idea of government to me is corrupt. Now, the reason I say that is because what is government there for? Government is there to hopefully protect the people, right? But nowadays, as the government grows too much, it's there to control people. They try to control corporations. Corporations realize that that's a corrupt practice of government, and if they're doing corrupt practices as far as too much influence or control over certain businesses, too much regulation over certain businesses, then they can, guess what? That's a corrupt individual in the government. I probably can pay that individual off. And I'm going to do it through lobbyists. And I'm going to do it through shell organizations that call themselves PACs that now pay for the government officials' campaign. And if you pay for enough government officials' campaigns, guess what happens? You are able to influence what the policy being passed is. So it is one of those. It's one of those things where, yes, corporatism is there, but corporatism isn't there because of capitalism. Corporatism is there because of corrupt government trying to create too much control, and the corporations who are afraid of competition, which is a bad business practice in itself, are paying the government officials to pass bills that are beneficial to them and to keep. They are actually paying to pass regulations to make it harder to enter into their markets.
I mean, someone said they should invest in policies to better their business, but you've been saying that too before.
Forever,
right?
Yeah, so the government. Or the businesses, that I need clarification on that.
Because he said government should not control corporations. The way they do this is they can invest in policy. This is what they say, in policy to better their business.
Invest into corporate policy or into government policy, right? So that's the confusion I have on that. So let me address both sides. So a corporation should not invest into government to push policy to benefit their business.
Lobbyism.
That's lobbyism. That's what's caused corporatism. Now, what they should do is they should invest into policy and technologies to bring something positive to the market from a corporate standpoint or from a business standpoint so that their business goes on and survives and is a great business, right? That, to me, is a lot more beneficial than that's more benefit. That's the point of business is you have a product or a service that people are willing to pay for, and they're going to be willing to pay for it as long as it's a great service. Let's use our country club as an example. Seriously, River Hills Country Club. We joined the country club because we like to golf, and we pay some money, initiation fee,
yes,
and we pay a monthly fee. And we will continue to pay the fee as long as the product or the service is good. But because the product and the service has slipped immensely, which is the golf course,
yep,
there's a chance that a lot of people stop paying that fee.
Vote with your feet.
Vote with your wallet in that sense, right?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So you're going to stop paying it. So you pay for a service if it's good. So people will go and they will pay for our mortgage services. They will pay for financial advisors. They will pay for the truck. They will pay for the car. They will pay for a product or a service that is good. The number one way to stay in the market should be by bettering your product and bettering your service over time. The corporations that are paying for government regulation to stop new entrants aren't necessarily having to live up to that because they're stopping competition from coming into the market.
And you said competition breeds efficiency. That's something that you said.
It does.
Yep. Competition breeds winners.
Okay.
Efficiency, winners, success, like competition does that. Like, let's use the concept of a sports team. If you played a sport, you had to try out for the team. If you were in band, a lot of times you had to try out for band. If there was somebody who played the trumpet that was better than you, they would make it, but that would force you to go back and practice more or be more prepared or be better. Like,
That's why we have the Super Bowl, right?
Right. Competition. See who the best team is. That's why at the beginning of a football season, people try out for those teams, and only 53 people make an NFL roster. It's going to be the best 53. That's competition.
I mean, just look at mail. Back when you had just the USPS, like it was a nightmare. Like it took forever. I mean, yeah, they're still not great.
It's a government-run organization.
But then you have private companies come out and multiple ones like UPS, FedEx. I mean, a bunch of them.
Those are the only ones I know of.
I mean, there's DHL, right? There's some other ones, but but I mean, they come out and guess what? Now all of a sudden you're mailing things, they're getting there next day. And then you have Amazon building out for their own specific company, getting it to you within hours.
Well, and then
potentially,
once the drones are allowed to do it, they'll drop it off within an hour.
But what's the reason for that? It's because of competition. Like if it was still just with the USPS delivering absolutely everything, like we'd still be waiting on things for weeks.
The problem is Amazon's gotten so good and they've actually practiced the concept of getting good that it's going to be hard to ever break into that market.
Yeah.
But the other thing that happens too is the corporations, they kind of, they'll just buy out the smaller companies. And when they cut you a $500 million check, it's hard to say no.
We just talked about the bank collapsing. Chase bought them already.
Yeah.
Like,
the big banks are going to buy. That was a comment, too, that I commented on. Somebody said, well, they're just going to encourage the big banks to buy the small ones. And my response back on that comment on our video was, well, that's bad for the consumer. When there's less options, it's bad for the consumer. So, crazy.
I'm thinking about it, but yeah.
Do you agree with that? If there's less options?
Yeah, when you think about it, because then you don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why there's anti-monopoly laws. That is a good form of regulation by the government, meaning there can't be one business that buys up all the rest of the businesses, and the government's actually allowed to come in and break up certain businesses because of monopoly laws.
Yeah, especially being in the South, I feel like we see it a lot because then we have like smaller like grocery stores and things like that too. So having just one specific thing to go to or I guess be a part of it does suck when you don't have any competition.
Have you ever heard that saying, variety's the spice of life?
No, but just now I have, yeah.
Great. It's a great
But
saying.
I mean, it makes sense, of course. Yeah.
I mean, who wants to do the same thing over and over and over? Like, I go to Earth Fair, but I also go to Harris Teeter, but I also sometimes go to Publix.
Right.
And each one has different options.
It's like different airlines. I mean, you got to get to the same place, but different people.
Gas stations. You look at gas stations, you have one out there in the middle of nowhere, it's going to be high because your other options drive 10 miles down the road.
Or if it's
pay the more right there.
Or if it's right off the highway.
Right. I mean, there's other factors.
Because you're less likely to travel farther down. You're just going to pay for that right there. So
exactly. But then you have an intersection where there's 3 gas stations all in that one intersection. They're going to be more competitively priced because of that. And not on top of that, I mean, they're going to give better service because they are trying to win that business any way they can.
Hypothetically.
But right. But I mean, they're going to be incentivized to do that.
Right.
And then that's what more companies do. I mean, it goes from price to service.
But there's another thing too, right? So there's also the bad service, low price section.
Yeah.
Of business, Walmart.
Right.
Like you can go to Walmart, not trying to knock Walmart, but Walmart's whole thing was they cost less money.
Right.
But you also go to there's a big difference between walking into a Gucci store and walking into Walmart, right? Like you walk into the Gucci store, hi, can I help you? Like what do you need? That's that high price, high level, high.
I mean,
product.
even going into Target is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
I didn't. Somebody made a comment one day and said like you don't even hear people in Target. I never thought about it, but you really don't hear a lot of people in Target.
No,
everyone's pretty quiet, like shopping and things like that. But if you go to Walmart, it's like
wild.
A combination of noises from the carts to the people to the cashiers. It's just a lot.
Right, it's a different level, but Target's also more expensive than Walmart.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right.
So,
but not everybody's going to be shopping in the same segment of category. So
correct. That's how they differentiate themselves, but
right.
Different market. Any more comments?
They were good. I mean, the capitalism one was pretty good. I think it was. Yeah, we covered everything pretty much. So yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great comments. Keep bringing us the comments. If you have not done it yet, go ahead and bang the red subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. Go to all of our social media. Follow us. We're NBI Financial Group on all of them. But if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, NBI Financial Group, and turn on the notifications and leave a comment, you will be entered into a contest to win either $1,000 cash or Bitcoin. After your comment, you have to have your Instagram handle. And it can't just be like, oh, great video. It has to be a thought-out response. If you do that on multiple videos, each video that you do that on, you will have one extra entry into the opportunity to win $1,000. The giveaway is on September 1st. Thank you all for joining us. This is the Loan Guys Podcast brought to you by NBI Financial Group LLC, your premier mortgage broker. We're out.